How we doing? Everybody, my bad. Give me 1 second, guys. Trying to make sure I get this posted all on social media. And Roman will be joining me in a few minutes. Okay, my bad. Good morning, guys. How we doing? How's everybody doing on this fine Wednesday morning? Hope you're doing well. God bless to you. Appreciate you guys for all your love and support over the last couple weeks. Really means a lot to me. And thank you to our sponsor, Shadrack's Coffee, the number one coffee spot in Oxford, Mississippi, located on Jackson Avenue. And of course, Nations Lending, your number one spot for home loans, located in Oxford, Mississippi, South Haven, Mississippi, and Corinth, Mississippi. Remember, at Nations Lending, you are not some out of town lender calling players from a stadium far away. You are neighbors with them. You're the hometown team. And when it comes to your mortgage, they are running the ball for you every single step of the way. So make sure you give my favorite person, Miss Tammy Kennedy, a call at 901-649-3793 for all your home loan needs. They will take great care of you. How we doing? Good to be back. Okay. Sorry, I had to step away for a second. Was on the phone, Roman, and had to make sure we got him in here. And boom, there is the man, the myth, the legend down there. I'm going to give him a second. It looks like he's moving around through the house. But, man, appreciate you guys for joining me, tuning in, and excited to be here and with my guy and to be doing this, man. It's been a fun off season. It's been a lot to talk about. And what I'm most excited about is to hear this man's thoughts, because I'm going to share this with him in a minute. But Ole Miss fans aren't really happy with my guy. I don't know if you know this, but we're gonna hear what his thoughts are. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing well, my friend. Good to see you as always.
Good seeing you as always. Sorry, I was washing my wife's car. Can't
You're
stop
all,
in between that. So thank you.
you're all good, man. How I want to let you know something. I made the Facebook and Twitter posts and said that you were coming on, and I don't know if you know, you're not a really liked man around Oxford, Mississippi. I don't know if you know that or not.
It's okay. It doesn't bother me.
Well, look, man, I kind of want to first just get your thoughts. I'm sure you're aware about the Daquan Wright, Xavier and Harris situation, about them going to LSU, and then the SEC releasing a statement yesterday, basically saying this right here, that the SEC is not going to permit any players that previously declared for the NFL, NBA, or WNBA draft to be brought back to college football. I just want to hear your thoughts, because you come from an era where there was no transfer portal, there was no NIL, and I like to call it the grit and grind era. Just what are your thoughts about this whole situation and how it's kind of transcaping what the college football landscape is right now?
That people say things one day and then things change within 24 hours. I'm not a big fan of it overall, and ultimately, I'm with the the conferences on this one. Like, I'm not a big fan of somebody going to the NFL, be there for 3 or 4 months, and then come back and play college football. And it's not just because I'm trying to deny those guys the ability to make money, but
Yeah.
it is something to be said about the journey, right? Like, everybody's journey is their own individual journey. That, just because you don't make it on your first roster or your first try doesn't mean like you're not an NFL player. And so
Yeah.
you just all of a sudden you get to go back. Like, there is something to be said about no options, right? Like, I'm just locked in and this is all I got. And so that's just go what I do. And you grind at it, you learn how to be a pro, you get around the right guys, you sacrifice. And all of a sudden you look up a year or so later, you're making plays. Lance Moore is a great um for me, a great example of a player like that, coming from a MAC school and and all in Akron, and all of a sudden, and he actually went to Toledo. Sorry, he would be so mad if I said that. So coming from a MAC school like Toledo to then all of a sudden, getting into the NFL, being cut, having to go play in NFL Europe for a whole off season, like going 12 straight months playing nothing but football, just trying to make it. And then all of a sudden by year two, making the team. and then
Yeah.
going on to play 10 plus years in the NFL from a practice squad guy. And so I think it says something to be said about that. I'm just not a big fan of the ability to always give kids an out. Like I think life is not fair.
Yeah.
And so when you make decisions, there should be consequences. And so I know it's unfortunate with this one 2022 class that's kind of in a unique situation, but ultimately, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, you've already been in an NFL locker room. Stay where the grind is at. And the fact that these kids chose to leave the NFL to come back to college before being cut only really hurts themselves
Yeah.
because now I'm looking at NFL team like, why am I going to bring you back? Like,
Yeah.
you know? And so you tell on yourself when you're like, you know what? I think I want to just go chase this college bag instead of trying to be a pro.
Yeah, that's a big point for me too. It's like it seemingly is going to look like the SEC is obviously not going to permit these guys to be able to come back. Where do they go now? Like, if I'm an NFL GM or scout or coach, why would I want to allow these guys the opportunity to come back in any given circumstance right now? But especially when, it's August, it's about to be September, and, the roster cuts are happening right now, and teams are trying to figure out their final rosters for the upcoming season. So that's the weird part about me. And I would love to ask you, if you were in the situation, if you were a player at LSU, and you were in Baton Rouge right now, and you're hearing these news that these guys are coming down, do you think that affects team morale or
Yes.
chemistry or your position? Like, how would you put yourself in that position?
Yes. I mean, I've been here and working hard and trying to separate myself from all the competition in my own locker room
Yeah.
since February.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm becoming a leader. I'm starting to feel myself. I'm standing out. I'm getting reps. And all of a sudden, this guy who's been in the NFL training camp for 2 or 3 months, all of a sudden now he gets to come back, maybe 4 months, right? So all of a sudden now he gets to come back, and somebody on that roster is getting cut.
Yeah.
Like somebody at the bottom, whether it's a walk on, a friend of yours, whatever that may be. Um, it's not a good look ultimately. Like, so then, and I know, it's so interesting because a lot of people on the outside say it's actually not. It's not anymore a amateur sport, right?
Yeah.
They're professionals because they're being paid. I'm not a believer in that. I think this is just college, and they are amateurs because I'm an NFL player. So they're not on my level. So I'm not going to punch down on them. And if they are getting some dollars, good for them. It still ain't what dollars that the pros make.
Yeah.
And so, um, it's just so interesting when you want to compete, you want to have these guys there for the right reasons about culture, learning how to be a good human being, not just a football player, but
Yeah.
a normal person in society when you're done playing football, because everybody's going to have to hang up the cleats at some point. So you're hoping some life lessons get passed down. And we have just become this society of right now, a society of where's the money at, what can you do for me, instead of like wholeheartedly trying to improve as a person and not just pouring into one aspect of your life. So this thing's not over with. I think you're going to have a little more shifts, more curves to happen. And I'm just looking forward to see what happens next. Whatever my opinion is doesn't really matter. Um, just because at the end of the day, if you have enough money to hire a couple good lawyers and have somebody jump in a suit with you, something's going to happen. And the NCAA is not having a lot of success with state cases like the one in
Yeah.
Louisiana, but they are having a more success in federal cases like they did in Colorado.
Yeah. I want to ask you real quick, man. I know you had the chance to be down with your guy Drew Brees and see him get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Just talk about that experience and what it was like to see him get his moment.
Well, he's not the first Hall of Fame teammate I've had go
Mhm.
in. I think he's the first Hall of Fame teammate that I spent that much time with.
Yeah.
And so, it was special just because, when one of your guys go in, it's like we all go in,
Yeah.
so everybody that was there from 2006 to, really 2000, when did he retire? 2019 or so.
Hmm.
And so, and Drew went through waves of teams and players. We had a run in '06 to 2013. Then they took a dip for about 2 or 3 years where they were terrible. And then all of a sudden they picked it back up and Drew got on another late run with Michael Thomas and those other guys and Alvin Kamara, and it was awesome to see, right? And so to see like the journey from the outside, and then being there with all those other guys that had been there early and late, you kind of see like the whole journey that is the Saints' success under Drew Brees, all in one room in one building. It's kind of cool to see. Luckily for me, the Saints have always treated me like family, and I've always been able to come back, and I've always kept a really close relationship with everybody over there. So
Yeah,
it wasn't like I hadn't seen everybody in forever, but it was still really good to see a lot of great teammates, and so proud of Drew. He deserves it. We all know that, and so it really, it's not like it was a surprise. It was just good to really have a reason for everybody to come back and it not be for death or something like that.
yeah.
So when you have those moments, you really try and cherish them, and you try and live in the moment and be a part of it.
That's awesome. I love that. And I'm glad Drew got his flowers too. There are so many greats that don't get their flowers until after they're gone. And Drew is one of those guys that, for me in my area, he's one of those people I grew up watching. And although I wasn't a
Yeah.
Saints fan, it was someone that just you sit back and you're like, this guy deserves his flowers. So it was great for me to see him be able to get those. So it was a great moment for me as well, just as a football fan. And I love that for him.
Well, Dalen, the other thing is that, I talked to Hall of Fame people that run the actual Hall of Fame museum and everything,
Uh-huh.
and literally Drew Brees is a special bird because
Yeah.
he is the city of New Orleans in a sense,
Yeah.
like I think I'm the mayor, and then all until Drew shows up. So, you know, and it's so funny because literally everybody from the state of Louisiana came up. Drew had guys from high school there. The whole state of Louisiana was there. And the people at the Hall of Fame Museum said, we haven't had a crowd like this since maybe when Brian Dawkins went in, like years ago. And so it was like, it was so many Who Dat fans just from not just Louisiana, but the whole Gulf Coast. And so, Mississippi, certain parts of Alabama, especially in the South Alabama region, even in my hometown in Prattville, that's kind of more central Alabama. Growing up, there was no Saints gear there. And
Yeah.
so now I go home and they sell Saints gear. And so, I can't say it's me that did that, but I mean, I had something to do with it, but Drew Brees did as well. And so I thanked him for that because, you know, us winning and putting up points and being a fun team like we were and winning a Super Bowl, like it made New Orleans a place that not only did you want to go and party at, but man, we were a destination to come football there too.
Yeah, I had a buddy and he called me. He was literally crying when Drew was up there and giving his speech. And I'm like, you know what? This is what this sport is all about. Like, it may
Yeah,
be funny to
I
some
have people
people.
cry too, so I'm
Yeah.
with you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like sports may be funny to some people, but it's also like, it's a way to bring people together at the same time. Like I love that you mentioned that about Drew and the communities and towns and cities and states that it impacted because he literally did that. And that's how sports is for so many people. And so again, like for me, just as a football fan, it was awesome to see Drew get his flowers. And honestly, like you mentioned earlier, just the team in general get their flowers because of Drew. So great moment. And once again, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Shadrack's Coffee, your number one coffee spot, and of course, Nations Lending, your top home loan spot in the state of Mississippi. All right, Rome, I want to hear your thoughts about Pete Golding, obviously an Alabama guy, and from the Nick Saban tree. And what I've talked about so much over the last few months about him is just the unprecedented kind of role he's kind of had to deal with,
Mhm.
being the DC and then Kiffin's gone to LSU and now he's the head coach and trying to balance who's going to be the staff throughout the playoffs last year, who's not, and then immediately season's over and trying to develop a staff and roster turnover for this upcoming season. At this point in time, before the season starts, I just want to hear your thoughts about Pete Golding, how you kind of evaluated everything he's been able to handle over the last 9 months, and just what your thoughts on what he's been doing for the Ole Miss program so far.
I'm a huge Pete Golding fan.
Mhm.
I know him personally just throughout the years, and so um, really big fan of his. I've actually seen him grow as a play caller, evolve as a coach. It's been really,
Yeah,
really great to see this journey that he's been on, and just like being able to root for these guys that I get to meet, just like hanging out and
yeah,
get to know them personally, and then all of a sudden now they get thrust into these positions. It's great for me. And I root for all of these guys. I think Pete's done a damn good job of building out this program and continue to try and stack on top of what Lane Kiffin was so successful at for all those years. And it was tough last year, but they played through it.
yeah,
That really let me know that it was a hunker down mentality, foxhole mentality where
Yeah.
they weren't worried about all the outside noise, that they knew they had to get each other's back. And honestly, man, they played. I mean, they were playing a half away from playing a national championship game last year.
Yeah.
And so they will be good again. I don't know if they will be able to repeat the success that they had last year. And
Mhm.
it's really just because of the schedule. Now, if
Yeah.
they win a couple games and all of a sudden, like, okay, I like where this team is going to be at, it's going to be truly, truly interesting to see. And I don't think it's a knock on Ole Miss or Pete Golding. I just
Mhm.
think, I don't know if Ole Miss is at this place where they're able to just reload, relaunch, reload, relaunch every single year. Now, do you love the quarterback? Yes. Do you love the running back? Yes. Do you love the offensive line? Yes. But you bring back Eccles up front on the other end. Suntarine Perkins is going to be able to pressure a little bit more this year. That's great. But it's still, I don't know if this team is. I'm just looking at the schedule. I don't care who they have on the roster. I look at schedules in the SEC just because it's a battle of attrition over time. You know, the LSU game is going to be a lot of emotion. You start off with Louisville, got to win that game, of course,
Yeah.
right? Like, you got to win Louisville, but Louisville is a good team, coached
Yeah.
by Seth Brom, really good coach. Um, so you got to win that game. Then you got week 3, you host LSU, all the emotion going into that game. That's going to be a toss up, and then I would assume Ole Miss is going to win. I want to assume that. Then, but you still have to go to Gainesville the following week.
Mhm.
That's going to be that one right there to me will let me know how this team will be able to handle
I agree.
adversity going forward down the stretch. Because man, this schedule that Ole Miss has is not easy. I don't know if you have it in front of you. I'm just trying to remember some of the games just off the top of my head, but I had them losing, 3 games, possibly maybe 4, just because of how tough and when and where you play teams at in the SEC matters. And so last year, Ole Miss got every break. Like they won those games. They went on the road and beat Oklahoma and Norman, where a lot of teams didn't. They're not ready for those things. And so those are the things that, you got to win those games to all of a sudden be, to be in that upper echelon. And they have the quarterback to do it, but do they have the team to do it back to back years?
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's
there
the
we go.
schedule real quick. I agree with your point. I think that Florida game is John Sumrall.
Yep.
Obviously him and Pete, they, at Tulane
Oh,
last year,
yeah. I
they
forgot they're
matched
going
up
to
against each other.
Texas. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah.
going to
Texas too.
Texas. Yeah.
Texas too, at Oklahoma in November.
Yep.
That's a rough sketch too. You got at Texas, and then you got Auburn at home, and then Georgia, and then you go back to OU.
Yep.
Like, I agree with you. This team, and obviously I'm a little bit more of a nerd with the team because I'm here and obviously doing a little bit more local stuff, but this team has a lot better depth, especially on the defensive side of the ball, than they did
Yep.
last year. But from your perspective, I agree. The schedule, you're starting off with Louisville this year, not Georgia State. And like, I
Yeah.
love Jeff Brom. Jeff Brom is a heck of a coach. Louisville,
It's,
I believe, went 9-3 last year, beat
yeah.
Miami, who beat Ole Miss and got to the national championship game. It's not going to be easy. And I think, from that perspective, they are going to be tested early. And I like that. I like that they're playing immediately. The only ranked game of week 1 is Ole Miss's Louisville. Like, I think from that perspective on, you're going to know immediately, okay, what do you need to work on? If you're good enough here, if you can match up in trenches in this position, et cetera, et cetera. So I think, you mentioned that Florida game and no one is talking about it. Obviously, everyone's talking about LSU and Lane and,
it's
blah, blah,
that
blah.
one. It's the
Yeah,
one after that.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? It's the one after
I
that.
agree.
I worry about those things. It's like you get so much emotion put into one thing. That's all anybody's been talking about all off season. But it's the one after that gets you. So if you don't win that one, does it cost you 2?
Yeah.
And so like that's another part of it. And so when you look at that schedule, it's just like this team could be better at points or at times than they were last year, but may not have the opportunity to prove it in the postseason just because they lose too many games. And until the committee's willing to tell me or
Okay.
show me that they will put in a 3-loss SEC team, like I just haven't seen it yet. And
Okay.
so the marker still is 10-2. If you want a chance to get in, you got to be at least 10-2 minimum. And so 9-3 hasn't shown me that you're going to get in. And I look at that schedule and I'm like, they're probably going to lose 3 games and not
Mhm.
even like That's just what football is in the SEC right now. And it's fine. It's not bad. It's not, I mean, it's not bad. I think it's pretty good. But there's the committee, and those 12 or 13 people think it's good enough. It has nothing to do with me. And
Yeah.
so if Ole Miss got their panties in a wad over that statement that I made to Chase Daniels about, you'll see. Like, you know, we will see. And so I hope you guys prove me wrong, but I think I've been right a lot more times than I've been proven wrong.
Well, and speaking on that, okay, I told myself I was gonna debate whether I was gonna read some of the comments or not.
Go
But
ahead.
so I posted the other day that you were coming on, and let's see what the good people said. So one person said, noted hater of Ole Miss, Roman Harper, keep him in check. Let me see.
I've
Another person
never
said,
hated on Ole Miss. I'm an Alabama guy. Why would I hate on Ole Miss? Like, I have no reason to hate on Ole Miss. Like, nothing. I love it though. It's fun. Like, this is what I really enjoy about SEC fans, though. Honestly, I do.
it's what makes it great. It really is. Like I promise, like I have so much fun interacting with fan bases, sometimes more than I have inside the stadium and watching the games at points. Because this is good. Like I had a cackle. There's another person said, let me guess, Roman won't have anything good to say about Ole Miss. Roll the tapes. A bunch of he doesn't like Ole Miss anyways. And then someone said he'll be laughing at us again. And then
I laugh at everybody. I just want everybody to know that. I literally laugh at everybody. So, and yes, I will laugh at you guys. So,
one woman says, she said, yuck, I'm not a fan of Roman. I hope you can get him to see us as contenders. And then one last person said, why, he's just a Bama homer. So I don't think the good people of Oxford, Mississippi, have too much fun. If you guys decide to come here this year, you may want to keep your shovels on your shoulders this year.
dude, I will be out and about just like I always am. I'll be shopping in the square, doing my own thing on my scooter, doing what I do. Because it's so funny. Because if anybody doesn't like me, they honestly haven't met me. Um,
I agree.
I was like, if anybody thinks I'm just like anything, and the crazy thing, it kind of gets on my wife's nerves because I just am who I am, and I kind of just go through life like, man, like just things just work out for me. I'm just a super attractor that like draws good energy. I put out good energy, and I literally root for everybody. But I am honest, and sometimes people don't like that, and it's just what I see, and because I've been around football for so long in my life, and I literally, it's my first love. And look, man, I'm wearing a flag football shirt because I coach it still every now and then. So, um, but I've given so much to this game, and my eyes don't lie to me. And so when I look at certain things, I just talk about what I see, and that's how I judge teams. That's how I anticipate, and I'm usually wrong about one or two teams every year. And maybe it is Ole Miss this year. Last year I thought Ole Miss wasn't going to make the playoffs because
No one did.
I guarantee they were going to make it the year before.
Yeah.
I was like, they're going to make it this year, and then they didn't. And then last year, and it wasn't, and nobody did. And you know why? Because nobody anticipated Trinidad Chambliss as well.
Yeah.
And so that's what football is. And so who's going to be that guy this year? Where Ole Miss and Trinidad Chambliss, like, man, and they played the right teams at the right time.
Yeah.
Like, all of those things matter when your schedule's being laid out, how you come up on teams, and how you're playing out those moments. Like, it's just so good. And so I think that's another thing that you guys will not be able to sneak up on anybody. Like, people are going to be ready for what Trinidad Chambliss, the problems that he presents. Keywan Lacey being healthy is going to be a dynamic player for you guys. I love his game. And so, in my opinion, he's the best running back in the SEC. How you like that, Ole Miss love? So, and it's not really that debatable. I know Jaden Ball and the guy in Missouri. I forget his name off the top of my head right now, but
About Hardy.
Ahmad Hardy.
Mhm.
But those guys are different. I like Keywan Lacey, so it's just going to be so interesting to see, and that's why they play the games every single year. I always have 2 to 3, 4 teams that can go up or down, but we saw it last year. Teams from like 5 to like 14 or 15 could beat anybody on any given Saturday. And we saw it every single week last year. And so that's where the SEC is right now. It's highly competitive and it's not changing.
Yeah. I think for me personally, because you look at trend, and you don't necessarily see like a video game quarterback who's like 6 foot 220, et cetera, et cetera. But he's a guy that I always say he makes something happen out of nothing. The same thing with Keywan. And I would love to know you, Roman Harper. You're in the secondary, and you're playing up against Trinidad Chambliss and Keywan Lacey, and you're watching film, getting ready for the game on Saturday. How do you kind of prepare for what they do so well, and how do you kind of try to limit what they do in terms of you being a defensive player?
This is a great question for like week 4
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to be a new coordinator. I want to see the little adjustments that they make. I assume they want to try and keep things very similar to the
Yeah,
success that they had last year, but it's still an art and a skill to call a game,
yeah.
right? When I'm a coordinator, timing, what do I call, how am I building certain things to then get something to get players' eyes to go here when I really am trying to attack them here later on in the game. So I want to see that part first. But for me, number one, you got to have a tackle plan with Keywan Lacey. Like, I tackle Maurice Jones-Drew differently than I did Fred Taylor. Same team, different game plan,
Yeah.
right? It's got to have a tackle plan. Adrian Peterson, different tackle plan than I do with Steven Jackson. Like, these are things immediately come to my head when I got good running backs.
Yeah.
What do they like to do? What is my tackle plan about how I'm going to address this guy? Am I going to like not slow down and just run a million miles an hour and just shoot at him like I do Adrian Peterson? Because he doesn't have that much wiggle. He has a little bit of wiggle, but not that much, but he's powerful. So you don't want to sit down and break down because he'll run through you or stiff arm
Mhm.
you. Versus Maurice Jones-Drew, he's short, all his power's down low. I want to make sure I tackle him up high. So I want to kiss him as much as possible. Versus Fred Taylor, I want to go low on him because he wants to protect his legs, whereas the knee brace doesn't want to get hit low. So,
Mhm.
like, what's the tackle plan? Keywan Lacey, high cut running back, which means his legs are longer than his torso.
Yeah.
So longer legs. I'm probably aiming at the legs more often than not, but he does do a good job of running high knees and getting his legs up off the ground. So if he sees me, I want to try and throw at him mid thigh, right? Because his legs aren't huge. So it's not like it's all the power there. So I want to throw at him mid thigh is what I'm thinking with Keywan Lacey. Not too low because then he's going to get his legs up. I'm going to dive at air. So for me, mid thigh target all day long with this guy. And then with Trinidad Chambliss, dude, you have to stay in coverage. And plaster rules have to be alive where if a guy's short, he's going to probably take off deep. You find guys in your zone as the quarterback starts to scramble, either push him down, push him out of bounds, which doesn't work in college. So throw that out. Plaster rules, which means go find a guy, get on a guy
Mhm.
and you got to let your D line, they got to get there. It's going to be very, very tough. And sometimes you waste spies on trying to spy on a guy like that because he either outruns them or he outjukes them or he's just sitting there and he's um, throwing the ball right beside him.
Okay. I like that. It's always cool to hear from football minds a little bit of more about the actual in depths about the game and how you guys see the game. Because, like, I know from my perspective, yes, I see the game differently, probably most people. But there's also a different element when you actually played it and played at the highest level. So I'm glad I asked you that because it's a real cool perspective to hear that. So appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
I want to real quick before I get you out here. I know you don't. I don't want to hold you long. I never got to rekindle with you. How was Omaha, man? I think if you told me when we were there it was your first time, I just want to hear about your Omaha experience and how did you enjoy it, man?
I had so much fun. We named it Romaha. It was
Oh
awesome.
my gosh.
So it was great. I think ESPN really enjoyed having me there. I mean, we made Sports Center like 3 times, 4 times. I have no idea how. That was not the plan, but it was really, really cool. It's more of a family affair. Like I didn't
Yeah.
think I didn't realize
Yeah, me
how
either.
much of it's like a family affair. Family traditions are built
Yeah.
on Omaha, trips to Omaha. And so many of these baseball players that I got to interview, first of all, they were all awesome. It was really, really cool. And dude, access is crazy. Like if you just have this little SEC logo on and I was just working and I acted like I just knew where I was going, like nobody slowed me down. Everybody gets really cool. It's the security's laxed. Like it's not like football where everybody's like, where you going? Where you going? Where you going? It's like, nah, you cool. Like they know ain't nothing going on. It's Omaha, Nebraska. This is like their Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
so every like you can tell they've done it 1,000 times. And so it starts a little bit later. It was so cool, Joe, just to see the family aspect of it, that the players that got brought there by their parents or their father when they were younger now actually having the ability to play in the game and playing
Yeah.
in Omaha, what that meant to them. It's
Yeah.
like the special moment that like goes from like, man, it's this kid growing up, all they want to do is play in the Little League World Series, to all of a sudden maybe go to Omaha for the College Baseball World Series, now getting to play in it. Like it's like a special venue. And then of course all the hydration stations outside of the stadium. Like, dude, everybody's just drinking and partying the whole day. And the moment your team's not playing, you're drinking and partying. Like, there's like no in between. And it was really, really cool. And that was the most baseball, like, uh not memorabilia but like paraphernalia that like anywhere sells. Like I've never seen bats, hats, shirts, t-shirts, like literally everything that has to do with baseball is being sold like right there, and right there outside the stadium in Omaha as well. So dude, just great vibes. The people were
Yeah.
awesome. I got to play golf one day, so that was cool too. And I really, really enjoyed my time at Omaha. And, maybe they bring me back. We'll see. I don't count my chickens before they hatch, but it seems like they maybe want to bring me back.
Yeah, it was so fun for me. Like I genuinely enjoyed. I didn't even. I had my mom asked me after I went back. I was like, I didn't even care about the baseball aspect after I was just around the people and
Me
the
too.
food and the
Baseball was like
memorabilia.
last. I agree.
Yeah, like just seeing the fan bases. Like it was
Yeah.
such a fun atmosphere. So I'm glad I asked you that because for me, it was honestly one of the most exciting and maybe fun atmospheres I've been in. Like I had the chance to obviously cover the playoff games for Ole Miss this year, but like Omaha was so fun. Like it really was. Like there was something to do every single moment. Like it was
Yeah.
literally exciting from every aspect other than the game itself. The game was
Right.
just an additional bonus. Like it
Yes.
was so cool. So props to them. It was my first time and they do a fantastic job out there with the whole render and weekend and slash week and bringing people together, making everyone feel like even if you don't know baseball, like make you feel like you do know baseball and feel love. So it was awesome. So shout out to the NCAA for what they do in the College World Series every year.
It's so cool. I mean, and everybody's all in. Like
Yeah.
the vendors, like the way they set up, like, and it's just an experience that, and I think they understand that this is something we still want
Yeah.
families to come be a part of,
Yeah.
not just the teams that are here.
Yeah.
Like you go to college football playoffs, like if your team ain't there, you like, bro, what am I here?
Yeah.
You're not just a random fan going to a college football playoff game.
Yeah.
Omaha, that's normal. That's typical. That's just what they do, and you will always have those fans there. And then the Jello shot challenge to the
Mhm.
to the other places. It was just really cool. Honestly,
Yeah,
it was a great experience for
it was.
me, and I really really enjoyed it. And the games were a bonus. And so like seeing people like from LSU, like why are they there?
Yeah,
They're like, oh, dude,
yeah,
we come every year, like. But they all got their team jerseys on. It's just
yeah.
like interesting to see other schools that are not even there, their fans still participating as well.
Yeah, it was like I think I described to my friend that was there with me. I was like, it's just baseball heaven, man. Like you said, I
Yeah,
was so many schools and fans from people that weren't there. I had so many conversations with people that their schools weren't even there, but they were just like, we come up every year, we love baseball and blah
yeah,
blah blah. So for me, that was really cool. Again, like it kind of goes back to that point I made earlier about Drew. It was just like this is what sports is all about, and it brings people together and it brings community and stuff. So it's so cool. Okay, last thing before I get you out of here, one thing that I really wanted to ask you. I know the season obviously hasn't started yet. But it's been a few years since the SEC has made an appearance in the national championship game in football, and let alone one since Georgia, obviously in 22. Do you think that gets changed this year? And if so, who do you think, in your personal opinion, right before the season starts, before you see the teams actually out on the field, who do you think may be the leading candidate from the conference this year to be able to do that for the team, for the school?
all right. So the last couple years I've said yes and they haven't. So my answer is no. I don't think anybody plays. I'm switching it up because I would like to see it. And so I'm just going to stick to it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I have a feeling and that's what I do. So I'm saying no, they don't make it. But if I had a team, it's Georgia's my top team right
Okay.
now. Their schedule, dude, Georgia has a manageable schedule compared for
Yeah.
Georgia, right? Georgia is a team that I really, really like as well. Other teams that are very interesting to me are going to be teams, SEC teams that I possibly have going into the playoffs are going to be. I like Oklahoma.
Okay.
I like Texas, and I like Alabama. Those are my teams right now who I believe have a chance to get into the college football playoffs. So, but if I had to pick one, I would go with Georgia. Even though Kirby's let me down the last couple of years. I think pressure's on Kirby to like you got to win in the playoffs, big guy. Like the SEC's kind of counting on Georgia to kind of be that guy. If you are
Yeah.
the standard in which everybody is measured up against, and you get bounced in the first round of playoffs, or you because you get a bye, you get bounced the last couple years. You know, to Notre Dame and the Sugar Bowl, and then to Ole Miss and you guys last year in the Sugar Bowl again. That's just not. You know, shout out to Ole Miss for winning the game. I mean, they outplayed them, but still, the rest of the country is thinking, man, and you know, Georgia's a different type of matchup for these other teams than what Ole Miss is, especially when Kiwan went down with injury. That was a huge injury in that game too. So we cannot forget that. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that's my pick on it all. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I like that. I predicted Georgia to win the conference this year, and also I think from you said a schedule standpoint, but also I think Gunner bringing back is really huge for them. I'm a big Gunner Stockton fan. He's a tough guy, competitor, and just loves the game of football. But also, I think Kirby may be hungrier than he's ever been. You know, also mentioning the fact that they lost to Ole Miss last year, and you said Notre Dame the year before. I think Georgia fans are a little angry, and they're ready to get back to that pinnacle, and rightfully so, obviously, with what they've been
Yeah.
doing under Kirby.
I love it that Georgia fans now have the Nick Saban disease, where it's like
Yeah,
you win so much, it's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
and when you don't
exactly.
win it all, you're just like mad and pissed off. And I'm like, well, it's normal course of action. Like that's what
Yeah.
happens, ebbs and flows in life and in football. So I'm a big Kirby Smart fan.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that. I mean, I don't hide that. I'm a huge fan of his, and so. But yeah, man, they should be good. And defensively, they were young the last couple years. Those guys have now grown up and
Mhm.
been in the system a while. And Kirby recruits a certain way. And they play football and they make you play their style of game. And
Yeah.
so you have to have a special day and be able to do special things like Ole Miss did last year in the Sugar Bowl, or like Notre Dame was able to run the football and physically beat them up. Took a special team, a special quarterback. And so that's what's got to happen, and we'll see. But I like Georgia too. I'm with you on that one, David.
All right, man. Good to see you as always, and give hope everything is well with you and the family. Prayers and love to you guys, and
Thank you, man. Really appreciate that.
of course, and thank you for doing this as well, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're new, like I said at the beginning, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on all social media accounts. And this is fun. I hope to do more of these moving forward, especially as the season gets moving forward. I know my role is a little bit different right now with everything that's been going on, but still wanting to do this kind of YouTube thing moving forward a little bit more throughout football season. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a like, comment as well. And happy football season, everyone. I know most teams don't start until next weekend, but I know there are some games this weekend. So sit back, enjoy some Saturday college football, and wish the best for everyone. God bless.